Hello friends and welcome to JavaScript class. Today we are making a first step in React.js. Step by step I show you how to start your React project from scratch. Mainly we are going to focus on practice, maybe just a little theory. And let's go. Here we are and let's start. So today I'm gonna show you how to quick start with React. And those people who has no idea how to work with React and no idea how to set up a React project, I'm going to show you all steps, step by step. We're going to start with explanations. Let's go. It's going to be a minimalistic style, just to show you how to start from the nothing. Before we start, I have to say that there's two ways to start React project. Actually, there's special shortcut, and when you use it, your project can be done by special program. And in this case, you actually don't need to do many things by yourself. But we are going today to do many things by ourselves, just to show you what the meaning of every file, what you need for the project. So we want to use extra unnecessary stuff in our project. Only the stuff what we need. Guys, I have one recommendation for you. Of course, you can follow all of my steps and repeat it. But my recommendation, just watch the video. Just try to understand every steps and then just watch it one more time and follow the steps. It's going to be more useful for you. Why I give this recommendation? It's just because when you follow the steps and repeating every step after me, it's gonna be hardly stay in your mind. But when you watch the video and understand what I'm doing, it's gonna stay in your mind. And it's a goal. It's a main idea. As I said before, we are going to start from absolutely nothing. That's why we need to start from the creating folder. Starting the React project, it means that we need to start Node project, npm project. And npm project means we need to start from command npm init. And when I push enter, we have to follow the all questions. But if you want to make a shortcut, you can use -y. It means we are going to say yes for every question inside. Push enter and package.json is created. So package.json is created for us and we don't need to follow all of the questions inside. To continue, we need two folders and two files. It's going to be much easier to create it in Visual Studio Code. So let's go there. So now our project has only one file. It's a package.json. But now we're going to create first folder. It's src. It's a main source. And second one, it's public. Guys, pay attention. There should be siblings, not inside each other. Next step, we are creating a file. It's a place where our project is gonna live. And in public is gonna be another file, index.html. And now let's create a regular template inside. Here, I'm gonna create only one element. I'm gonna use shortcut. Why only one element? Now it's gonna be difficult to explain, so just have a patient. I'm gonna explain it just a little bit later. But it's a very common thing. And now it looks like our minimalistic style project nearly done. Only one thing what we need, it is dependencies. To add dependencies, we need to open terminal. And then npm install React itself, React DOM. And third one, it's React scripts. One more time, React, it's a core, and React DOM, it's web part of React. And React scripts makes our life easier. It's very nice stuff. And let's push enter. It's gonna take a time. It's gonna be installed in seconds or in a minute, depends on your internet connection. So installation finished. As you can see, it's a bunch of stuff. 1480 packages. I can guess that some of you already saw in internet that there's a special shortcut, React create app, and by this shortcut you can get all stuff what you need, and more than over many things and stuff what you don't need, and actually you're gonna simply delete it. But it's a learning process. And in my point of view, actually you don't need this stuff, and it's overwhelming, and it's very difficult to explain you all these things now. So that's why I try to start from the scratch using minimalistic style, only things what we need. And after this, you will understand all of these files, what they mean. I hope that in the end, all of these things, this understanding will help you to go through the interview. What you have to remember that whatever you need, you can simply install, write in the command npm install, and then just type the name of the dependency, whatever you need. It's very simple. Before we go to index.js, let's go to the package.json. So what we see? We see our dependencies. React, React DOM, React scripts. Good. But I would say that keywords, author, and license, we don't need it. So let's delete it. I think version and description we can remove also. Or maybe version it's good to leave. Let's remove only this one. Now going to focus on the scripts and test. Maybe you know, maybe you don't. Scripts, it's a place where we can create a special shortcuts for commands. For example, we can create shortcut with the name mktr. And what does it mean? It means we are going to create a folder, special folder for trash. And make dir, you know this command, make dir, and trash folder. So it means if we start this command, this shortcut mk-tr, it's gonna be done, and it's gonna be created special folder, trash folder. It can be very useful if you have a chain of commands, more than one. In this case, you get this shortcut and it expedites development. But very common thing is that this shortcut command stat, and inside we have a React scripts and stat. So now we can start our project. What we need, it's type npm run start. So it means we run our script. Oops, I forgot to save. Save now. Index.html also save. Now we can try it again. Now got a question. Yes. At this moment, our project is running, but we now got some additional stuff in a package.json. It's a browser list. At this moment, I'm gonna skip it. We will talk about this a little bit later. Before we continue, I have to say that npm run start and npm start, it's the same thing. So it's a so common thing that somebody created a shortcut. Let's check that our project works proper way. I'm gonna use some text just to see that it's gonna appear in browser. Yes, it works. Now I'm going to make a small stop to make a stress on certain things. For example, in a package.json, when you install dependencies, very common mistake. People forget about this as React scripts should be, but people very common make the same mistake. They forgot about the S. So if you got some error, just check it. And next thing, what I wanna talk, it's so we're gonna start React scripts. Where they are? They are in Node modules. So when we run the command npm install React, React DOM, and React scripts, we got a lot of packages. They come from npmjs.com. It's a central repository where we get all stuff, whatever we need. It means when we run the command npm start, it starts all React scripts. They are hidden in a Node module somewhere there. And one more thing. In this central repository, for example, you want to use dependency moment. You type it, find it, and you see instruction how to use it. Dependency is very popular. 20 million downloads a week, very popular. And you can see installation, npm I moment. I means install. It's a shortcut, another shortcut, one more shortcut. We can check what is React scripts. So we can see the install instructions here, and you can see how many downloads a week. It's 2 million, nearly 3 million a week. You can see the version. Let's check React itself. It's nearly 24 million a week. If you like it, you can read some documentation here, some usage. If you go to through these links, you can get more information, documentation, more examples. A very useful thing. So when you type npm run stat it starts your HTML file in a browser. And whatever you write here and save, it should be updated on your page in a browser. What exactly means this sentence, Webpack compiled successfully? It means that this script, React scripts, somewhere on a server runs React scripts which build our project. And these scripts update our project in a web browser automatically all the time when we save index.html, when we update it. So all of this stuff is hidden behind this line. It's time to check index.js file. Let's check. We got it. You see, strange things happening now. Because we don't have any script inside the HTML file, but we can see index.js. Why it's happening? It's just because of Webpack. Webpack is doing this stuff for us. Let's go to HTML. And this line, number 11, we can delete. Save it. I want to remind you that we have in line 10, we have an empty div with ID root. It exists. And let's go back to index.js. And now we are going to create a React project. What we want to do is just few lines of code and it's going to be ready. So let's start. First of all, we need to import create root from central repository. Then we declare variable. And last step, we are going to render. So our code is ready. Our React project is ready. That's simple. One more time, what we did. We importing component from central repository. This component is create root. It's a function. Then we declare a const root. Using this function, we are looking for element by ID. This element is div. You remember? I told you this one. It's empty div, but we are targeting this div, and then we are rendering. So we are looking using the root, this const root, and render inside this empty div this h1 with text hello world. To be more clear, just look at the line 3 like where we are going to render. We are looking for a special place, element or whatever. And line number 4, we are rendering something. So render, it's a function, and what we take inside, what we are going to render inside this special place. So at this moment, whole our React application inside of this div, here. Guys, and note this thing. Inside of this rendering part, we have an interesting thing. It looks like a HTML, but how is it possible? In JavaScript, it's not possible. We can use only a string or maybe some variables. But this thing can happen just because here we use, it's a JSX. It's a big part of React. So this syntax is possible only just because in React we have JSX. It's a big part of React and it allows us to use this syntax. What exactly is happening here? This Webpack is converting this H1 in a normal JavaScript thing. And then browser can understand this. All of this stuff is hidden somewhere in React. You don't see this. What you can do is only using these functions like create root or render. That's all. It's very simple. And now we can use all normal standard HTML tags inside without any problems like this. Change it to paragraph. Oops. We need to change it here also. Save. Done. So now we have a small one. I can delete this line number 9. We don't need it anymore. Save. All magic is gonna be here in this empty div. Whatever we are going to create is gonna be here inside. Here. Guys, I created a small file, MD file, my markdown file, where I left some notes. If you forgot any steps, you can check it here. So, good. And one more time in index.html. Now we have only one element. It's an empty div. It's a root. It means that our React project is inside here. But for example, if you need any another element, you can create it freely here. If you don't want to change it, so it's gonna be stable, some unchangeable element here, you can create it. For example, header here, or maybe footer, which you want to change. You can create it here. So it means that your project can have many things. Also, some part can be React and some parts cannot be React. It's gonna be something like this. Few words about folders. We have specific folder public and index.html inside. We have specific folder src and index.js inside. It's because it's a convention. It's a convention. It means that React is looking for a folder public. React is looking for a folder src and index.js inside. Okay, that's why I leave one more note in markdown file. Convention over configuration. In 100% of cases, you will see this structure. Public folder with index.html inside and src with index.js. Let's go back to index.js file. So what I want to say, usually here, we don't have so much things. Usually we have separated different files inside. I would say that index.js, it's like an entry point to React, which leads us to other files. First of all, we need to create another file. It's app. It should be from capital A. Then JSX. Pay attention, not GS, JSX. Now you see in front of this app you have another logo. It's atomic. It's a logo of React. Okay, it's done. Okay, let's create something inside and express this. Some function. To be more clear, let's say something that it shows that we are from app. Save. And now we need to get it here inside index.js. We need to import that file. It's a component. And now when we got it, it's a component. We can show it here. Save. So we've got error. Let's read it. What is it? Model not found. Error cannot resolve. The reason is that because app.jsx placed outside of source folder. Let's replace it. And now everything fine. Now when we see the app file, I would like to go back in the app file and make a stress here. Guys, as you can see, it's a JSX file, not JS file. But we didn't import any additional stuff here. It's simply rendering. So it means it's so simple. Everything is done behind in React. We don't need to make additional steps or whatever. Nothing to import. Everything already implemented inside. Maybe better to give a name for this function. Save. I think it's better. So let's imagine we have browser and somewhere server. Browser send request to server and get answer back with HTML file inside. Inside of this HTML file, we have root element, only this one. So there's not only HTML file, there's also JavaScript file, JS file, which is contains another JavaScript files. And all of them are going to be updated inside of browser. One more time. We have JS file inside with components. And these components is gonna be updated inside of this root element by browser. And more easy and clear. Actually, we have only one JavaScript file here, which constantly updated inside of this element, inside of this root. If we go back to browser, we can go to inspection. And let's search elements. What we have? We have a header, which is independent. We have a footer, also independent. And we have this element div with ID root. And let's open it. What we can see inside? We can see our standard HTML element. So it's no longer JSX. It's a regular HTML element which is rendered on web page. Let's go back to drawing. So when we get this HTML file, inside we have a root. And somewhere there we have a script. This script sends request to server. And we get this JS file. And this JS file is adding the stuff inside the root. That's how React is working. And if you one day decide to inspect some big projects, you will find out that many of them, really many of them, consist only one file. It's this one, root. Nothing more. Everything, all stuff is inside of this root. Go back to inspection again. And what I want to say. So Webpack React script is rendering stuff inside the root. But if I go to a head, we can see that script was created dynamically inside the head. So this script added to head, and it has a diversity and downloading this file static.js bundle.js. Of course, we can look inside, right click on the mouse and just go to open a new tab. So what we can see, it's hundreds line of code, maybe thousands, but it doesn't tell us so much because it's application. But we don't have to care about this because Webpack is doing this all stuff for us. It's updating automatically and converting JSX file in normal JS standard. It's also converting JSX in normal variables, and all necessary things is gonna be done automatically behind. As you can see, it's very convenient. Index.js is starting this application. Index.js is starting everything. And app.js, it's a real application. So guys, how it looks like normal structure of React project. It's a HTML file. Inside we have one single element div with ID root. And then we use index.js to start this project. And in this file, we are rendering only one file. It's a app. You can give this for this file any name you like, but usually it's a app. And then inside of app we have other stuff. All components are going to be here. So we're going to create some kind of tree of components. We need to change node. Even better, make like this. Few words about syntax. This app, actually it's a function. And working on old projects, you can meet syntax like this. Syntax like this. But I highly recommend it. Don't use it. Use standard syntax. This one. Next thing. We have some components here. We're gonna have more components. So app is a functional component. all functional components should start from capital letter. And it is convention. Oops, I forgot I. Probably you can ask me why we should use first capital letter. It's just because in the future we will have maybe hundreds functional files, and it's much easier to find them. Just to make your work easier. All functional components returning JSX, but we can return whatever we like. I mean, we can return standard JS stuff, for example. You see. So one more time. This component, it's a regular function, which is rendering JSX. It's a slightly different HTML. And what's amazing in React that we don't have to care about how it's gonna be converted in regular JavaScript. We don't care at all. It's gonna done for us already. So it's simple. That's why React is so popular. When we use a lot of stuff inside this function, very common thing is using parentheses. Look like this. Inside parentheses, we're gonna put stuff what we need. So this syntax, it's much more convenient for readability. And let render something more. Let's add another element. For example, main. Now, if I save it, we get error. Why? Because in this function, we can render only one element. So what we can do, we can place another element inside. And if I save it now, React is happy again. Guys, I'm gonna give you one small remark. Look, if I read off of this parenthesis and save it, it's still working, but it's not good for reading. Look at this. If I make it like this and this, it's a messing. But if we are going back in style like this, it's much better for reading. As you can see, JSX pretty like normal HTML syntaxes, but there are some differences. First difference, I think you already noticed. You see the class? Here it's a class name. Second one, for example, HR. You remember this from CSS. It's a horizontal rule. It's a line, horizontal line. And if I push enter, you see the syntax is like this, but I'm pretty sure it won't work. Save. Oh my God, it's working. They changed it. Because before, we had to have closing tag always. It should be like this. But now, it's working. Cool, nice. I like it. Good job. Somebody improved these syntaxes. Nice. So coding is a live environment, something always changing and somebody improving. Coding is getting more easier and easier. Next thing, I have to say many things very common, very similar, like in a regular HTML. For example, ID is the same. Save, go to elements, go inside body, div, root, and horizon as an ID line. That's okay. Just remember, when you start working in React and using JSX, remember that not all of things are possible to use directly. Some of them are different. Just when you get error, read it carefully. For example, like now, save class, and if you go to console, you've got an error. So, invalid DOM property class. Did you mean class name? So, you already got a tip. So, now you know. If you get an error like this, you know what's happening. It's a JSX. You have to pay attention for syntaxes in JSX. It's slightly different compared with HTML standard. Another thing, what we cannot use, it's a style. If we use style like this and save it, we get a bunch of errors. Now we skip it, but we will come back to this stuff later. Guys, my recommendation, please don't use inline style now. We'll come back to this thing later, but now please don't use it inline style. Let's imagine next situation. For some reason, maybe you need to use standard JavaScript thing, stuff. Let's say if I save it now, we get a simple text because JSX doesn't recognize it as a JavaScript. But if we use this syntax, if we use curly braces, now save it, it's different. Now JSX recognizes it as a JavaScript. And now we see this in a console log. And it doesn't appear here. And it doesn't appear here as a text. No plain text anymore. Now it's like a JavaScript. So whatever JavaScript stuff we want to run, we can do it in a curly braces. Another example. Save it. And now, so what we did, we use mass function random, method random, and we compare with 0.5. So it means we are looking for a 50% of happening something. And if it's more than 0.5, yes. If it's less, no. So let's refresh it, yes. Refresh it again, yes. Refresh it again, no. So depends on the result, we get some text, what we can on a page. So ternary operator is brilliant. If it's true, yes. If it's not true, no. Now it's a simple string here and string here. But, of course, we can render elements. For example, paragraph. We can place inside this text. We can do the same here. We can change, or we can take element whatever we want. Save it. And now, if we go to the elements, now we see. Now it's yes, and it's paragraph. Let's update it. No. And if we go there, it's H4. No, sorry. It's H5. What we declared. So I hope now you understand how life is going easier and easier with React. In JavaScript, to create element, you have to use special methods like create element, save it in some variable, and blah, blah, blah. Here, it's much, much easier. Let's look on another example. It's a very, very common thing in React. Let's imagine we have a variable which is an array of fruits. Apple, orange, and banana. And then we want to get this list of fruits in ordered list. We use ordered list, then use curly bracket because it's JavaScript. Then we take this variable words, use map. Probably you don't know it yet, but later on we will use it. Plenty, really. And this method help us to loop through the array. Take all elements inside one by one. So we take every element step by step and give a name for every element, in this case word, and then looping through and place them in list. So now it's ready, save it, and it's done. So we took all of this, take all of these strings from this array and show them in a ordered list, place them in a list. It's a very, very common thing. Of course, you can ask why we declare this variable word and then we use it in curly brackets. It's the same story like at the beginning. It's a signal to JSX file that it's JavaScript. So at the beginning, we use curly brackets to show it's this JavaScript. And then in a lead tag, we also give a signal to JSX file that this word is JavaScript. For example, if we take it out, these curly brackets, save it, what we see. JSX thinks that this word, it's a simply text, plain text. But if we give it back, it's a signal. It's a JavaScript. It's a variable. Okay. Good. Guys, do you remember? In JavaScript, we are used to use backtick and $sign. It's the same logic here. Let's look on another example. For this one, line number 11. Let's take const line and put inside, let's say that this variable line, it's HR. And then instead of this one, let's use line, variable line. Let's copy this and we can place it several times. Save it. And now we have several lines. The same story. So what I want to say, later on you will see that here we will use mix of JSX style and JavaScript. So it's going to be a mix of these syntaxes, JSX and some components in JavaScript. And next few lessons we are going to practice in this stuff. Now, next step, let's talk about images and styling. Start from styling. I have to admit that my code organization is far away from perfect way, but I want to keep it simple. That's why I gonna leave it as it is. So let's create another file, main as CSS. I changed my mind and let's start from simple CSS. We'll come back to SCSS later. Let's say we want to change color of our text to red. If I save it now, nothing happens. That's because we need to import this. And guys, usually we don't import it in index.js. We usually import it in app or app. Name it as you wish. As you can see, we have result. Our text now is red. So I don't want to use SCSS now, just don't want to overvalue. We will definitely touch this stuff, how to install it and use it in React. But now I think CSS is enough. Later on, we will take SCSS also. We already touched so much stuff, so it's absolutely not necessary now. Let's talk about images. Before we implement some images, I want to say the difference between public folder and src folder. Public folder, it's a place where we can leave or use files directly in HTML. So what I want to recommend you to do now, guys, find two pictures, whatever you like. You can use, for example, unsplash.com, for example, and download a couple pictures. We need two. One for public and one for src. I want to take megaliths and maybe docs. I like this one. So, and now take one picture, place it in public, and take another picture and place it in src. So now I have these two pictures inside, one in public, one in src. I want to explain how we use files in public folder. In public folder, we can use whatever we use, HTML file, CSS, or maybe images. These files can be used directly in browser. One more time. In public, we have files which can be downloaded in browser directly. Let's rename it to make it shorter. Rename image 1 and image 2. And now let's go to index.html and let's try to use it here. Delete this one and this one. We don't need it. Now it's not necessary now. Let's use width 100 and save. We need to show format JPEG. And now we have our image. Technically, we can use it directly in app file. Let's try it. If we go somewhere, for example, here, image, this time make it smaller. As you can see, we have another picture. This time it's a little bit smaller, but it's still working. Everything fine. Guys, probably you have this warning that you have some kind of error. Please simply ignore it now. I will explain you later. Now just simply ignore. But if I try to use image number 2, save it. It's impossible. If I try to play with address, nothing helps. What's going on here? The reason of this is that it happens just because you don't have access to stuff outside your public folder. It happens just because all files, all code inside src, it's impossible to download because Webpack of React is smooshing this code, bundling this up, and then it's possible to use in HTML. So we cannot download images directly in folder src, but anyway, we have an option how to do this. And I'm gonna show it. What we need to do, it's import. We need to import this image, and we can give this image name whatever you like. It can be cat, dog, or whatever. So I'm gonna give a name image, simply image. It's done. And then place it in a source. Again, curly brackets, image, save. Voila, it works. How it works? It's done by Webpack. it's done by React. This magic is done by scripts of Webpack, and it simply works. Everything done automatically for us by this Webpack scripts. I'm gonna remind you, what is that Webpack? We go to the page webpack.js.org. You can see this schema. Webpack takes JavaScript, SCSS, Sass, or whatever, PNG, it means images, pictures, JPEG, and makes smaller. It makes it load faster. It makes so many tricks to make our life easier, and everything is automated. You don't need to care about this at all. So with React, life is going much easier. That's why people like this. That's why people like React. They love it. I know that Webpack, you can reconfigure Webpack, but I've never seen that anybody do this because it's not necessary. It simply works. You don't need to touch it at all. So guys, and here I would like to stop. I gave you information more than enough for first video. We will get deeper and deeper in next videos. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You found it useful for you. So make a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and I wish you good luck in coding. See you in next videos. Ciao.